Hello, John aka Chicken Felix here. Now we all know I love myself a JRPG. I mean, that's the whole point of the channel, is it not? Now unfortunately, as much as I'd love to play every single JRPG in existence, well, that is just quite frankly not possible for one reason or the other. So with this in mind, I thought I'd have a look at 5 JRPGs I will never play. Probably. Now I am preempting some comments saying, well, why don't you emulate these games? Well, did you not see those adverts back in the 90s? I mean, look at it. Clear right there, isn't it? Anyway, if you like JRPGs and if you like hearing a wee Scottish guy talk about them, well, please consider subscribing. Anyway, let's get cracking on.
Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, the Nintendo 3DS JRPG which was released back in 2016. Now in this, we follow a silent protagonist known as Nanashi, who has been resurrected to become the God Slayer. Now Shin Megami Tensei 4 is set in an alternative timeline compared to the previous entry, Shin Megami Tensei 4, and is set in a post-apocalyptic world. The game also sports a turn-based combat system. Now the question is, why will I never play this JRPG? Now unfortunately it's going to be the accessibility for me, because if I want to play this officially on the Nintendo 3DS, I've got to cop out quite a lot of pennies for this game. Specifically £150 for this physically, and with the Nintendo 3DS eShop now gone, well, I can't even pick it up digitally. And full transparency, I still need to play SMT5, but this title looks amazing. And I know what will happen. I'll play SMT5, I'll want to delve back into the backlog of SMT games, and then I'll hit this stumbling block. It's a real crying shame. Because honestly, this looks awesome. Skies of Arcadia, the sky pirating JRPG classic from Sega. Now this JRPG was originally released on the Sega Dreamcast back in 2000, and then we got the Skies of Arcadia Legends Edition, which was released on GameCube in 2003. And in this Sega turn-based JRPG, we follow Sky Pirate Vice. So again, why is this a JRPG that I will never play? Well, let's be quite honest, I'm going to use the accessibility term here again. Now for a JRPG which is considered a fan favourite, a classic, etc., well, Sega has really just left this in the dust. We have no modern ports for this title. So if I were wanting to play this JRPG, well, I would have to purchase this for my Dreamcast, or I'd have to go out my way to buy a Nintendo GameCube first of all. And once again, it's pretty pricey to buy this physically, so if I wanted the Nintendo GameCube version, we're looking at about £85, whereas if I want this physically for the Sega Dreamcast mint condition, well, I'm looking at about £120. Now the Bank of Phillits doesn't have that money spare all the time. Honestly, Skies of Arcadia is on my wish list, and it has been for a very long time, and I really want to pull the trigger. It's just that price tag on it really puts me off. Let's hope that Sega actually, decide to port this to modern console. I love this one on the Switch, wouldn't you? Next up is the Atlas classic, which I always struggle to pronounce. It is Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology. I've actually pronounced that right. oh my god. Now, the original version of this title was released back on the Nintendo DS back in 2010, which then followed with a remastered version for the Nintendo 3DS in 2017 and 2018. Now, in this turn-based JRPG from Atlas, we follow our main protagonist Stock in this time-travelling adventure. And I have seen it dubbed online as one of the greatest JRPGs ever created. So why haven't I played this, and why will I never play it? Well, it's down to my good old friend accessibility. Once again, this title is stuck on the Nintendo 3DS. It did not get ported to any other systems, and once again, well, the eShop is closed on the 3DS. So yes, it's time once again where I bring up the price. Here it goes, £135. Ah, that stings. Honestly, I would like to think that Atlas would actually take a plunge at releasing this on other formats, the likes of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, etc., because they have gone back into their backlog, likes of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. Well, that got an HD release. Why not bring this to other systems? It means I finally get to play it. But until then, yep, this will probably stay as a JRPG I will never play. Yokai Watch 3, the monster hunting JRPG from Level 5. The game was originally released on Nintendo 3DS back in Japan in 2016, with following releases in North America and Europe between 2018 and 2019. And in this, we are back with some more yokai antics with Nathan Adams, Whisper and Jabanyang in a totally brand new city. And if you've not played Yokai Watch before, it has stylus turn-based combat. Yes, I've dubbed it that because you will be using your stylus on the Nintendo 3DS. Now, to be honest with you, this one stings quite a lot because I've recently got into Yokai Watch. I completed Yokai Watch 1 quite recently, and I'm in the middle, as of the time of recording, of playing Yokai Watch 2 Bony Spirits. And I'm absolutely loving it. I think Whisper is an absolutely amazing character. I think that the games are well written and the comedy is really done great in it. What stings is that this was seen as a commercial flop outside of Japan, and it was the last Yokai Watch game to be released outside of Japan, making this a rare Nintendo 3DS game. Meaning it's time to bring up once again how much this game will cost me to buy physically. It will cost me £210. You can see why I may never be able to play this JRPG. It really stings, this one, because I really like Yokai Watch now. I always seem to get into the wrong series at the wrong time. Maybe one day. However, with this all in mind, before we get into the number one JRPG I will never play, well, let's look at some honourable mentions. And don't worry, it's not all about cost this time. Final Fantasy XIV, the phenomenal MMORPG. This MMORPG is seen as one of the greatest ever made, and it has a thriving active community. And it has multiple award-winning expansion passes on this game. Now, honestly, I would love to play Final Fantasy XIV, but the reason I will never play this, well, it's an MMO. I unfortunately do not have the time spare to sit down and play this. Now, I can't say it's not got accessibility because you don't have to play this on PC, you could play this on the PlayStation. Etrian Odyssey, the dungeon crawling RPG series which originally started off life on the Nintendo DS. Now, this JRPG series from Atlas has got multiple titles on different consoles, the likes of Nintendo DS, 3DS and more recently the Nintendo Switch. So why will this be a JRPG series I will never play? Now, honestly, I've seen loads of praise for this game. I can understand why a lot of people have fond memories and love for this series. But for me, dungeon crawling is a form of JRPGs that I really cannot connect with. And listen, it's not like I've not tried to play JRPGs which have this similar dungeon crawling mechanics. I just cannot connect with them. I just find it boring, to be quite honest with you. And if you like this sort of JRPG, that is amazing. Hyperdimension Neptunia. I mean, do I really need to explain this? I just don't want to play this at all. Honestly, nothing grabs me with this series, so I really do not see myself playing this JRPG anytime soon. Now, with everything said and done, let's have a look at the number 1 entry on this list. Yokai Watch 4, the level 5 JRPG, which for the longest time was a Japanese exclusive. Now, don't worry, there'll be a link why I'm saying that. Now, this is the first time that we saw Yokai Watch come away from Nintendo, where they also released on the Nintendo Switch and on PlayStation 4. And in this, we follow Nathan Adams' Whispering Jabanian once again in a time-travelling adventure. Now, compared to the previous Yokai games, this has a brand new combat system. It's action-based this time round. So why is this a JRPG I will never play? Well, it's because it's not had a Western release. And I have also checked if the Switch edition has English text at all to it, but unfortunately it does not. Now, could there be a faint light at the end of the tunnel for this game? Because, well, Yokai Watch 4 did actually receive a Chinese release back in 2023. That was only last year. Could we see Level 5 bringing this to the West? Because Level 5 has started becoming a bit more active in the game development side, especially with the likes of their new JRPG title, Deca Police, which will be coming to Nintendo Switch. Now listen, I know that there's English patches for this game available, but I honestly do not want to brick my Nintendo Switch by putting hacks etc. on it, because knowing me and my luck and my technical expertise, I will probably make a massive balls up of it. Honestly, one day I honestly hope I can play this, but until now, this will be the number 1 JRPG that I will never play. It's a massive pain in the ass if I'm honest with you. So there we have it, 5 JRPGs that I will never play. Is there any JRPGs that you will never play for one reason or another? You know what to do, leave a comment down below. Now, if you like what you're hearing and seeing on the channel, well, please help me grow it by liking, sharing and subscribing. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything Chicken Fillets, well, hit that notification bell. This has been John, aka Chicken Fillets, and until next time, tatty bye!